Welcome, Cancer, to your October 2021 reading. Thanks so much for tuning into my channel. If this is the first time you've tuned in, I offer free mini readings for all new subscribers. So if you've got a question about this particular reading or something that this reading doesn't cover for you, just click that subscribe button and ask your question in the comments below. Now, I have to start out by saying happy Halloween for all of you people that that celebrate Halloween in the countries you are from. Your Halloween is going to be looking pretty good considering some of the cards that you've got here as well. Now, Cancer, you start out the reading with the Five of Pentacles. Now, you actually have 2 5s in your reading, and I love looking at synchronicities like this. And often when we get multiples of a particular number, it really is giving us a message. And when you get 5s, they sometimes talk about some challenges that can come into your life, but actually bring opportunities. And this 5s are also a number of great change in your life. And with 5s, it's almost like you are learning to adapt, and you're sort of almost spreading your wings and breaking free of situations that don't serve you any longer. Now, sometimes when you get multiple 5s as well, it can talk about resistance to change. Now, you are a water sign, and I don't feel like for a lot of you that would apply, because water is quite fluid and you are pretty good at adapting and changing. But it's almost like we don't like that feeling of uncertainty that change can bring. So there is sometimes a little bit of rebelliousness in a sense that can come up when we do get multiple 5s and talk about changing as well. But 5s are also a message of freedom. And you know, once you go through that uncomfortable feeling of changing and things moving around you, it actually really allows you to have that feeling of freedom. And there's almost like a reassurance as well with these, that things are going to work out for your best, for the best outcome for you. Yeah, despite, you know, all of that negative kind of stuff that comes up. But for the 5 of Pentacles specifically talks about us sometimes feeling like we've been left out in the cold, or we've been left out behind. We've been left behind a little bit. And, you know, this is traditionally, I'm using the Tarot of the Witches deck here, which doesn't have the imagery on the sort of normal cards, but the pip cards, so to speak. But normally you would see in this imagery on a traditional deck, people sort of standing outside and out in the cold, in the snow. They're unwell, sometimes they're injured, and you know, they're kind of begging outside of a church. And what the 5 often talks about is that the people in the card that are normally depicted aren't seeing that there's opportunity right behind them. There's a church, you know, you see the light shining through the church window onto them, and they can just walk around the corner, go into the door of the church. They can be out of the cold, out of the snow. There's going to be people in there that can help them. And so in a sense, the 5 of Pentacles is sometimes talking about a situation that we might be missing, that's sort of almost in front of us, but we're not seeing it because we're so caught up in this feeling of being left out in the cold, of not having enough, of not having the security that we need around us. And you know, this can sometimes, because it's a pentacle, it can refer to money. So a lot of you might be feeling like you are having issues with your money or financial worries, but this can also talk about a lack of friendship, a feeling, I should say, of a lack of friendship or a lack of romance, or even a lack of opportunities in your life and in your career. But, you know, the law of attraction, the longer you focus on that feeling of lack and of the things that you don't have, it's like the more you get given that which you don't want. So the 5 really talks about using that law of attraction to change the way your thoughts are from what you don't have to what you want, and imagine that you have it. And then this brings the positive energy to you, and it turns things around. Now, the 5 of Pentacles is a card that does talk about temporary situations that will eventually fade away once you change those thoughts to a positive mindset. So, yeah. And I feel like because of, I mean, you've got the Sun card right beside it. So I am feeling like this is energy from the past. This is energy that is coming through from past months, and is finally going to be, you're going to be overcoming a lot of this. Now this can also be, the 5 of Pentacles can also talk about a changing career for some of you. And this can be a career, not only a changing career, but almost a transition from working for someone to setting up your own business and going out on your own, and that kind of energy. Sometimes this is also a bit of a warning. If you are going to be doing that, just think it through carefully, because it just could be a timing thing and it might not be the right time to actually do that. But whenever there is a helping hand that's offered to you, take it, because, you know, as I said, that imagery, you know, the people are suffering outside when they could go inside and ask for help, or certainly be offered help. So if somebody is extending their hand to you, take them up on that offer for help, Cancer. But, you know, as I mentioned here, wow, the Sun, I love the card of the Sun in this deck. It is so happy, and that is exactly the energy that the Sun represents. It is happiness and opportunity, and it's just like new ideas coming through for you, and, you know, success with anything that you put your hand to, but just beautiful, wonderful, light, happy energy. Now, this can be also new, bright ideas coming in for you. And again, this is kind of like a message about keeping those thoughts positive, Cancer. Don't allow yourself to slip into that negative mindset. And if you do that, if you keep your thoughts positive, there's no way that you cannot succeed here. And, you know, if you've been feeling unwell, mentally, emotionally, physically, the Sun is saying that things are going to be healing as well. So this is why I feel like this energy of the 5 of Pentacles absolutely is in the past for you, and you are moving on to these happier, wonderful times. Yeah. And happiness is all I'm feeling. This is what is coming through for me. Just happy. Just look at the smile on the Sun's face. It is beautiful. It is quite wonderful. Now, Cancer, you have got the 8 of Wands. Now, wow, I'm not sure what's going on here, but the Eight of Wands is showing up for so many signs. And I shuffle my cards. I don't pick the cards out. I only use jumpers. So once I've done a reading, I grab each card individually and I put it into the deck separately. So there's spacing between it all. I don't clump up all my cards and just put them at the end of the deck. I feed them into the deck and then I cut the deck and I shuffle, and I only use jumpers. And I'll tell you what, as I said, this card has really come out for so many signs. Now, this card is the card of fast moving energy. Speed is what this card is telling me. So I feel like there is a return to health speedily. Things are going to be working out financially for you in a hurry, you know? And it's almost like you are achieving your goals when this card comes in. And it's accomplishment. And if you are just not quite there yet, then things are just going to speed up so quickly. And this is almost like you might even hear some exciting news. This is a card of lots of emails, lots of messages, lots of texts, just a lot of news coming in in for you. This can be travel as well. This can also mean you are doing things in terms of your business. You're streamlining your business. You're getting things together here. But also what is quite interesting, and this obviously won't apply to everyone, but this is sometimes called the arrows of love. And it's right above the Queen of Cups, which could represent a Cancer here, but you might be getting some love messages or having a relationship perhaps, or a new relationship is coming in from another water sign. Normally I would read that card as a Scorpio, but this can be any water sign. But I always say it's more about the character of the sign, the character of the person rather than the star sign. So this is someone quite loving, quite nurturing, quite gentle, compassionate. So there could be some wonderful news here for some of you Cancers as well. Now, you've got the moon, you've got the sun and the moon, and this is quite interesting as well. Now, the moon is a very mysterious card. It talks about intuition. It's a card of mystery. It's a card of illusion as well. So for some, you could be getting some, interesting messages through your dreams. This is really asking you to be in tune with your intuition and listen to some psychic messages that are coming through. This is actually a card of psychic awakening and some revelations coming through for you as well. Now, this is also sometimes a card about facing your fears. So if you are sort of still having remnants of that energy of the Five of Pentacles, where we are afraid that we've been left out in the cold and, things are sort of aren't going so well for us, and this is creating a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety. This can be you facing all of that stuff in October. And there is a change here as well, because the moon does talk about illusions in the light of the moon. We look outside on a full moon and the light is so bright and we can see by the light of the moon, but things are quite different in the daylight and things change. So when things look a certain way in the light of the moon, they don't stay that way. So I feel like there could be some changing messages that are coming through for you. Yeah, so any loneliness or any confusion you feel, this is going to pass. And it's almost like the moon is saying it will reach a natural conclusion to this. There will be an ending to any of that kind of energy. Yeah, also, yeah, this is a great card of imagination and of fantasy, and it can help if you are wanting to maybe commence some kind of creative work as well. There's a little bit of a message I'm getting through here, which is quite interesting. Now, you've got the Hierophant here as well. Now, this card represents a Taurus. So you might be feeling left out in the cold by a Taurus, perhaps, just because it's right beneath that Five of Pentacles, or kind of being, ignored or not helped there. But just in general, the Taurus actually means a card of tradition. This can be traditional structures like universities, schools, churches, religious kind of doctrines. This is quite a card of searching for inner meaning as well. Often this was called the Pope in some decks. So it is quite a religious card, or certainly, when I say religion, spiritual card is more the go for this. But this does talk about us perhaps heading back to a traditional kind of education. Some of you might be going back to school or university and learning. This could also be a desire for you to get married, or you might be getting married. It's that kind of, you want those traditional kind of structures in your life. And this is also a card about following your passion and your intuition, which is quite interesting because you've got that moon card there, and that is a very strong card with messages about your intuition and things like that. Now, this really also is, sorry, I'm just moving the camera there, guys. I don't know what happened. It looked like it moved. This is also quite an interesting card because what the Hierophant is a duality card. And this is one of those cards that has a kind of dual meaning. And there are a few of these cards within the deck. And one is saying you want to go down that traditional route. You want to go to a traditional school or university. You want to go to a church and get married. Or what another side of this card is saying is you want to buck the trend. You want to do things your own way. You don't want to follow the norm anymore. So this, you will know what this card means for you. But generally speaking, this is that card of formal knowledge, education and academic establishments, and a need to conform to kind of orthodox ideas. But if you are saying, no, that's not me at all, then the opposite applies to you. You want to buck the trend, you want to do things your own way, and you might be as well. And this can be in business here for some of you. Now, again, this message is coming through, and I love it for you because it's right beneath the sun. It's the Six of Swords, and you are leaving those troubled past memories and pain and hurts behind you. All of that stuff is behind, and you are moving on to those calmer shores, those calmer waters. And the Six of Swords, traditionally in a normal deck, you would see some people in a boat, and they are rowing away to a beautiful calm sea with a lovely village on the hillside that's bathed in light, and behind are the choppy, wavy seas with cloudy skies. And that's what's happening for you. And it's just strengthened in meaning here for me because it's right beneath that Sun card. And I feel like perhaps, you know, as I said, you could potentially be showing up in your reading here just because you are a water sign, but this kind of leads into that Queen of Cups. And I really love the Queen of Cups because, as I said, this is somebody that is just nurturing, and you yourself are very nurturing, Cancer. So I feel like, you know, this could very much be you, but you know, this is someone I feel like that could potentially be coming into your life that is extremely loving and such a kind person, and they spend a great deal looking after their family and friends. And this really is, you know, someone compassionate, and they really can just be that sort of person that sits and talks with you until your problems just don't seem so bad anymore. And yeah, this person is very intuitive as well. I do feel like this could potentially be describing you, Cancer, because you are very much like this, or certainly the Cancers. I've got a very dear friend who's a Cancer, and she is very much like that as well. But when this card does turn up in a deck, it's talking about deep emotions, and you know, it's almost like feelings run very deep when this card is coming up. And you know, this could be talking about a significant relationship, and I just feel like because it's below that Eight of Wands, there really could be someone coming into your life that is just a really wonderful, caring, loving person. And this can also talk about, it can describe someone who's into acting or the world of theatre or film. So you might actually be interested in that and might be going into that kind of area. But yeah, as I said, this is deep emotions, and somebody that perhaps can stir a lot of deep emotions in you, possibly a water sign. So possibly Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Now your final tarot card here is the Seven of Wands. Now this card is quite interesting, and this is the card of standing your ground and fighting for what you believe in. It can be a bit of a struggle or a bit of a challenge, but it's overcoming obstacles, you know, and you know, you might be sort of engaged in a bit of a struggle that challenges, you know, who's the boss, that kind of energy. Or even just, it can be challenging your judgment on certain things. But I feel like you're going to be enjoying this. It's quite it's a bit of a battle, but you're going to win here, Cancer, if it is. And when you do overcome this kind of battle of wills, it really strengthens your own abilities or strengthens your character as well. Now this can sometimes talk about inner conflict that you might have with yourself and your own intuition. You might be quite in touch with your own intuition, but are wanting to resist that feeling because it is a little bit strange and unusual and doesn't feel comfortable, particularly if you haven't been, you know, practicing that side of your that side of you in the past. So there could be a bit of that. But this is also that card that says stand your ground. You know, if you are in a battle of wills and you truly believe that you are right, then you've got every right to stand up and fight for what you believe in, and you will, like I said, you will be successful here. Now, your final card of all from the Gateway Oracle deck is Proceeding Softly. And I really love this deck. I mean, the imagery is so beautiful, and the colors are soft, and just I use this deck every time in my reading just to give a final message for the month. But the affirmation for this reading is, my inner power grows in moments of quietude. And the meaning of this card is, go forward slowly and gently. Stop to smell the daisies and enjoy the view. Love and appreciate what is here now. The universe wants you to know, when you take your time and go slowly, new perceptions blossom that you can't see if you're moving fast. Step out of the rapid pace of everyday life and step into the majesty of stillness. Resist the impulse to go ahead with your first instinct and tune into your deeper intuition. Power is born when you relax into the present moment. And I really feel, Cancers, that this is so much connected with that moon card. I feel there is this spiritual awakening happening for you in October, that you are truly becoming in touch with that psychic side of yourself. So I'll leave it there. I hope that resonated with you. Please take me up on my offer of that free mini reading and just click that subscribe button and ask your question. So I hope you have a great month, Cancer, and I hope to see you next month. Bye.